All right, now let's look at how we're going to maintain containers. So from the logistics menu on the inbound side, again, we've got container maintenance. We're going to drill down in there, and there's several options from within container maintenance, but the one we're going to focus on for this is container information. There's really a lot you can do from this screen. Let me pick one of these more recent ones. I'll pick this one I just created before. And there's a tabbed format here. This top section is going to be a summary of the container number, the vessel, the voyage, the ventures contained within this container, description, a status, ETA, ETD, and whether or not we've created a delivery order document. So we can actually change the status of the container right here in the summary window. So it starts with that source. You can move it to in transit. Once it's in transit, you can either bring it back to its source, or you can move it to a warehouse. So you can only go one step at a time. So if there's 3 stages here, at source, in transit, and move to warehouse, you can't jump 2 stages at a time. You can go one by one. So let's start with the at source function. And from this screen, we can view the ventures that are on this container. These 2 different, it's actually the same product from 2 different POs. We have 10 pieces in this PO, 90 pieces from this one. And if I want to make changes to a quantity at this point, I can do that. And as long as this create back order is checked, then it'll actually, if I reduce the quantity here, it'll create a back order for the remaining quantity. So I can create back orders from this screen as well. I can remove ventures from the container, and by removing them, the venture itself keeps the same status that the container has. It's just no longer part of that container. So you can move ventures through the various statuses as well, outside of the container if you want to. And then deleting a venture will remove the venture from the container and then change the status of it back to PO issued. So then if you wanted to go into create another container, you can add it from there again. The other thing I can do from here is add new ventures. And by clicking add venture, it'll bring up a list of all ventures in the system. I can add them to the container, and then it will change the status of that venture as well to the status of the container. By the way, if you have any of these little eye icons here, this will give you additional information, and this is saying that right now it's PO issued, but when we click done, it's going to change the venture to at source. So that's the Ventures tab. General information is shipping information about this particular container, shipping dates. These fields here, a lot of people use little notes to say a comment about the date, like the ETD, for example, would be firm. The ETA might be approximate, something like that. Status of the documents. This would mean you're referring to the packing list, the commercial invoice, and the bill of lading, and any other documents you're receiving in. Have you received advanced copies or originals at this point, or none at all? The port that it's coming into, vessel, shipping company, a bill of lading number, bill of lading date, UPS tracking number, container number, truck number, container type, import entry number, invoice number, that would be the commercial invoice number, and various other fields here. You can also customize these. If you want to change the information that you're storing about a container, you can let us know, and we'll change those fields for you. Transshipment information, a couple different ways in which people use this. Probably the more common of the two would be keeping track of if it's on a feeder vessel from the factory to the port of departure, or rail car, or even a truck, keeping track of that leg of the journey up to the point of port of departure, at which point the general information would take over. Or you can use the transshipment information to reference the inland freight, or rail car once it reaches the port of arrival to either the warehouse or the customer. That's really your choice, or you can not use it at all. Comments are going to be just obviously internal comments about the shipment itself. A lot of people will make notes about whether or not the shipment is running late or ahead of time, or maybe there's an insurance claim against it. Any comments that you want to say about that, you can do so here. And I'll make one additional point about containers at this point as well, which is what a lot of users will do, or a lot of our customers will do, I should say, is have someone overseas, someone who deals directly with the factories maintaining this information. Because it is a web-based application, you can really access it from anywhere in the world. So for example, if you're buying from China and you have a sourcing agent in China, this might be a good way to take advantage of the opportunity to use that sourcing agent to get some of this data in there for you. And this way, when you come in the morning, the information is already in there for you. Links will be documents that the system will generate to assist you in both clearing the goods through customs as well as arranging for inland freight. So first thing I'll do is select a customs house broker, and I can create my container instruction sheet. And this is going to be a document that will go out to the broker to tell them, here's what you have coming in, here's the vessel that it's on, here's how things should be classified, here's the appropriate duty rate I should be paying. And the idea here is you really want to minimize the chance for error on the broker side by kind of giving him all the information that he needs to clear the goods effectively. So that's the container instruction sheet, and you can kind of customize these to make them look however you want them to look. That's part of what we do in the implementation. Delivery order is going to be instructions to the freight carrier, again, from the pickup at the port of arrival and delivery either to a warehouse or to a customer address. And the one other thing that you can do from here is adjust inventory. Again, that's going to really depend on whether or not you're tracking lot information in your particular install. If you do, this is kind of a critical point. If you don't, it's not really necessary, but just to give you an idea, this would be by clicking on here, you would go into the packing list entry section where you would enter lot information and packing information for the ventures in this container. Documents and images is an area where you can upload and store documents as part of a digital library that you have associated with this container. To give you an example, if I say add document and I select the packing list, for example, this would be the packing list that the supplier has sent to us. If we have it in digital format, ideally, we would just upload this. I'll go to my desktop and just pick something here, book 1, upload, and it will store it down here. It'll indicate to me who created this list and when the last person to change it and when, and that's based on the user that's logged in. And then I can view, edit, or delete it from the screen as well. And then this is also an available option if you want to use. We partner with a company called TRG Direct for direct filing, where you can, if I were to submit this container to TRG, it stores it as part of the TRG Direct web service, which has an ABI interface allowing you to do direct customs entries from their site. So this will eliminate any double entry, so you can get all the information directly over to TRG and do the entry from there. Obviously, the benefit that I should mention here is that you bring in your cost of entries from whatever you pay the broker now to $30 an entry, or it's actually less depending on volume. So that's the maintaining of containers. There's several tools you can use. Once that information's in there, there's several tools you can use to get the information out. Probably the most common of those is the Venture Explorer. But also, in fact, just from this container view screen, you can do quite a bit, because this will give you a listing of all the containers that you have in the system, and then you can kind of filter this down by status. So for example, if I want to say show me everything I have in transit right now, it returns this filtered list, and then I can say maybe show me the most recently updated in transit containers, for example. And that's the container view. Several things you can do to customize the container as well, and what I would suggest is if you're interested in changing the way the container functions in some way, just contact your VISCO representative and we'll see what we can do for you.